Tommy Trinder, Champagne Charlie, though we're going to be tasting Prosecco, but nonetheless I like this tune. I do like this tune. Just waiting for Stefania Ruffo to join us, live from Italy. Here she is, just inviting down Tommy Trinder. Connection, that sounds like Stefania.
Hi, Chris.
Hey Stefania, you okay?
Yeah.
Good. Let me adjust mine as well. There we go. Like that. That's a bit better.
Let me move now a bit myself. Yes, right. Perfect.
Perfect. You can hear me okay, Stefania?
Yes, I can perfectly hear you. There's still a snow there, Chris, or no?
What's that? Sorry, Stefania?
Is there snow still today?
Is that what you're asking me? Is that snow?
Yes.
No, no snow. It's just a shirt. It's not any snow. There's no snow on the table. Today is lovely and blue outside.
Okay.
So,
nice. Very nice. Very good, Chris. So, are you ready to taste these fabulous Asolo Prosecco sparkling wines?
Am I ready? Am I ready? What a question. Yes, I am definitely ready. And are you ready to have a go at the two wineries and their Asolo Prosecco, Stefania?
Yes, so yes, of course. And also, Chris, I got a surprise for you later, but I wanna say now. I got a little surprise at the end of this tasting.
Oh, well, I like surprises, so I'm looking forward to that. But this is episode 2 of Stefania and myself in our series of looking at sparkling wines from around the world and also food pairings to go along with them. And today we're talking about the Asolo region in Italy, northern Italy, part of the Prosecco kind of region. A very unique small place. It has its own dedicated label in Prosecco. It's a DOCG, that means it's a superior level Prosecco. And have you been there yourself, Stefania, Asolo?
Yes, several times. Yes, I perfectly know that area, the little town, the production area that surround the Asolo. It's a wonderful area, Chris, production area located in the Veneto region, in the province of Treviso, at the foot of Monte Grappa, that lies in the high hills to the west of Piave River, in the shelter of the Dolomites. So it's kind of area protected from the Dolomites, the hills. This lovely wine production area, that includes 80 municipalities producing more or less 7 million bottles per year and more or less 2,000 hectares.
Well, you've done your reading up on this subject, haven't you, Stefania? Because I didn't know all of that, so that's good to learn. What I like about Asolo, the town is very, very pretty. But for me, it has one of the longest ever traffic lights system. Because it's a one-way system, it's got very small, narrow roads. At one point, you have to wait at a red light for about 6 to 7 minutes before you get through. That's frustrating. But otherwise, it's a beautifully set area. And today we've got magnificent examples. 2 wineries that I've been to. I've been very lucky to go to these wineries. Giusti being one of them, that have a very fine range of still wines. And they have Prosecco and obviously the Asolo Prosecco. And then we've got Montalbini. Again, they've got a very classy range of Proseccos. And once again, they represent the Asolo with two labels here. What about the history of Asolo, Stefania? Can you tell me more about the history?
Yes. I'm really passionate, Chris, about history. So Asolo is full of history. It's a small hamlet, as I mentioned before, located in the high hills. And Asolo Prosecco name comes from this ancient little town of Asolo, that once was also named as the Garden of Venice and the City of 100 Horizons. And it's a small town that they founded during the Roman times, and then it strongly developed during the Middle Age. And during the 12th and 13th centuries, the fortress La Rocca, did you see the fortress, Chris, La Rocca, on the top of the Monte Rico?
Yes. I've had ice cream in the terrace. You can have an ice cream or you can have drinks in the terrace. It's very nice. Yes, I've been there.
Yes, and it was built in order to defend and protect the area, the little town, and all the area around the little town of Asolo. And this medieval fortress you now can see perfectly on the logo of Asolo Prosecco as a symbol of Asolo in this territory. And as I said, it's a very long history, and also during the Middle Age, to be precisely in the 14th century, Asolo strongly developed more and more because of the La Repubblica Veneziana, you know, the Venetian Republic. And because Asolo came under the rule of the Serenissima Repubblica di Venezia, and exactly during this period that viticulture really improved. And believe it or not, Chris, there's something that I learned just 1 month ago, that the wines that were produced during the rule of the Venetian Republic were considered very high level, very top, excellent wines, that there was a different kind of taxation. So those wines were had, a different kind of taxation, 1/3 more than other usual wines. And that's because of the high quality of those wines produced in this specific area.
And obviously, this is in the northern area of Italy. And as you say, it's very much hilly on the foothills of the Dolomites. So you have wonderful up and down slopey kind of scenery with the vineyards on steep hills, which makes these wines the superior quality in the Prosecco classification. It's all hand-picked. And it's for wine tourism. It's a splendid place to go. There's plenty of hotels. I've stayed in hotels in and around Asolo. There's a lot of accommodation there. There's also one hotel, and I can't remember the name. I didn't stay there, but I had a wonderful lunch and wine in the garden. And I think some celebrities stay there. And do you know the name of it, Stefania?
Yes. I think you mean Albergo Asole, I think so. Albergo Asole is located right in the main square of Asolo. It's a wonderful place, a wonderful albergo, hotel, I mean, that over the last years, attracted many famous people, Chris.
Yeah, and it's a lovely terrace area in the garden that overlooks the views are very nice. But there's a few restaurants in Asolo that you can go into, and out of the back, the views are amazing. And you can sit there and have a wonderful dinner and have a beautiful view at the same time. So it's a special town. A lot of small restaurants, cafes, little shops with obviously gifts, but also with foods, local foods. And for me, very good clothing stores for men and ladies. So it's designer clothing. I've got one of my jackets in the town. And they've always got lovely fitted clothing, so they know how to do their clothing very well there as well. So,
yeah.
And I went there a few months ago. I was there as a guest of Villa Sandy, very kindly. I was in Asolo September, I believe, August, September last year.
Yeah, so let me tell you this story, Chris, about two great female personalities that really loved this little town of Asolo. First of all, there was a female personality during the Middle Age named Caterina Cornaro. She was born in Venice, and then she married the king of Cyprus. But after her dad, unfortunately, her husband, unfortunately died, she was in exile in Asolo. And she decided to recreate a Renaissance court in Asolo at the castle that nowadays still her name. And so this is the reason why many artists, poets, musicians, and yes, many artists came there in order to join the court of this Caterina Cornaro.
I agree.
I don't know.
But is there? The artists I agree with, but then you've got roads like Robert Browning. So they had all kinds of artists, linguistic artists as well as sculpture, because there's some beautiful gardens in Asolo with wonderful sculptures, stone sculptures, quite amazing.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, I think it's a very nice and inspiring place, Chris, in order to paint, to take pictures, to live and enjoy the lovely atmosphere, ancient atmosphere. It's something very unique that if you have the chance to visit this place, you can feel the atmosphere of the past. That because it's exactly the same, nothing has changed in this small town, except the people, obviously, that live now. But it's only the same, this kind of quiet, silent atmosphere, especially in the main square, where the only noise that you can hear is the flowing water in the fountain. It is very relaxing. Oh, I love that place. Very peaceful.
And I've been into some very nice wine bars in Asolo, and they're old-fashioned. You go in and they've got all of the old bottles up on the shelves. It's not dusty and dirty, but you've got this feeling that it's very old, and there's cobwebs with all the old bottles, and you sit there in a wonderful atmosphere. It really conjures up a piece of history that you can go back to. As you say, Stefania, it's kind of, we would say, untouched, unspoilt. It's not modern. You're going back in time. When you go into Asolo and you go up the hill and you drive up the hill to the town, you're going back in time.
Yeah, yes, of course. Also, there was another famous female personality that I really loved Asolo. She was an actress, and she was Eleonora Duse, and more or less during the 20s. And that actress decided to retire at the age of 51. And she chose Asolo as a dwelling. And so she decided to buy a villa in the center of Asolo. But during the time the villa was under restoration, she chose Albergo al Sole as her dwelling. And so she chose the room number 202. And she always stay at the same room for a long time. And now if you have the opportunity to visit the hotel, you can read the letters that she sent to the previous owners in order to thank for the great hospitality, for the kindness. And it's something unique, something that you can see, read the original letter, that they are unspoiled, and that you can see the hotel. And then, Chris, after more or less 50 years, other two sisters decided to buy the hotel and restore, and in order to revive the atmosphere of the hospitality in the main square of Asolo. And so it's now something very unique place, as you said before. And I really suggest to visit the hamlet and maybe have a dinner at the terrace outdoor in order to see the spectacular view that you have in front of you and enjoy the lovely hills behind, and especially during the sunset, because you sit down in the terrace and you have just in front of you the palaces and the fortress and the hills beyond. So you see the show of the sunset, coloring orange the hills. It's something very unique and unforgettable.
I know, I'm with you on that. I've been probably about 3 or 4 times to Asolo. So, or I've been at night, I've been in the morning, I've stayed during the day, so I've seen all of the different stages of Asolo. So it's a lovely place. What about, so the Asolo Prosecco region, what makes that special? I mean, I hear a lot about the terroir, but especially the soil and the influence of the ground on the wines. So a lot of people can identify a Prosecco from the Asolo region because of the characteristic expressed by the soil. Is that correct, do you think?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, the vines in this area, Chris, grown at an altitude of 100 to 450 meters above sea level. And the soil is very unique, Chris, because it's red clay. It's something very unique that, and really belongs to this place. It is specific feature that really affect the wines because of the minerality, because this kind of soil tended to make the wines, to give the wines more body, more structure, so you can appreciate and feel the minerality because of the soil, also because of the good climate. And it's easy for me to recognize sparkling wine producing in this area because of the unique minerality, because of the soil.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that. And did you want to start by opening one of the bottles?
Yes, it's my pleasure. 4 bottles.
You tell me what order you want to do them. So what's the first one?
Okay, I'm ready. Montelvini.
Montelvini.
The Millesimata Extra Brutta.
The blue label. So we've got this one here, the blue label.
Yeah.
Yeah, and their feature is the owl. They have an owl as an emblem. I've been to their winery, a very big winery. Always very inviting, very nice and welcoming people. And I've done a very nice tasting once with them on site. And they do have a very extensive range of Prosecco to suit all requirements. I don't have my notes here to know who the importer is in the UK, but I'm sure we'll put that in on the update that we do on social media. So
we've been producing wines, Chris, since 1881, the same family.
So you're being the teacher today, definitely, Stefania. You're being the tutor. You've got all the information. You're well prepared. You can see who's the teacher. I'm the student.
It's part of my genes because I've been teaching since I was 26, so it's a long time. Yes.
That's good. No, that's nice because then people that watch can get an understanding of the basics of the area, which is important. The area is just as important as the wine, and a lot of the area is usually expressed in the wine. If it's Prosecco, if it's champagne, if it's Californian, wherever it may be. So,
yeah, it's the terroir that you mentioned, all the people involved in this wine business mentioned. Terroir is very important, Chris. And it is exactly what makes a wine so unique, because the area, because the soil, because the climate, also because of the people, the tradition. Yeah.
It means what? Terroir means an awful lot of things. So it's not just the soil, it's the weather, as you say, it's its location, its altitude, how the wine's produced, the winemaker, if it's organic, if it's sustainable. So many different things. So anyway, we've got the wine here, which is the Extra Brut DOCG Superior from Montalbini, and this is the Asolo.
Yes.
So.
Let me see. Color, Chris, is very delicate. See, color is very pale, delicate straw yellow. As I opened before, I have my room full of floral notes, Chris. Full of floral notes.
Liven it back up again. You have got your floral, yellow floral, white floral notes. You have got a touch of honeysuckle, but you've got green kind of pear juice. You've got the flesh of the green pear.
Yes, I can feel. Let me see. Yeah, floral and also fruity. Floral, something that reminds wisteria and acacia flowers. It's very delicate and refined bouquet, Chris. Very elegant, in my opinion.
So this is the Extra Brut. So the Extra Brut will mean it has less sugar in as such. So this would be up to, is it up to 3, Stefania, grams of sugar? Yeah.
Yes, it's 3. Let me taste, Chris.
Yep. It's only an Extra Brut, so you've got less sweetness to the wine. You do have more citrus fruit flavors, which is like apple, the zesty apple.
Mm-hmm. And yes, it's crispy and vibrant in my mouth, but it's still very delicate. See, Chris, it's not aggressive, not at all. It's very elegant, refined, and delicate, and really invited to have another sip.
Yes, no, I agree. There is, do you get the terroir? Do you get the expression of the soil from this Asolo?
Yes, I can feel the minerality on the side of my tongue here. Yeah. The now develops in my mouth, and I can appreciate that kind of specific minerality because of the terroir that we talked earlier. Very delicate, Chris, this wine.
The whetstone, kind of a salty whetstone, just a touch of salt. So I'm getting it at the top of the tongue. So it's very fresh, it's very crisp. It's a wine to sit back, take your time over to enjoy. That kind of wine, this is for me a relaxing wine. It's refreshing, it's crisp, but there's a lot of expression inside. Now, if you take your time over, you'll be able to explore the layers of.
Yes, it's kind of, I can feel kind of creaminess also, Chris, and it's very elegant, as I said. It's perfectly balanced, in my opinion, because you can appreciate the saltiness, the acidity, the low level of sweetness, and the minerality, and also the bubbles are very refined, very tiny, very smooth, very good, good sparkling.
Minister Marto 2019 vintage.
Yes.
And 11.5% alcohol, which is approximately the normal for the Prosecco. Champagne's usually 12.5, sometimes 13, rarely. And as we say, this is the less sugar option, the Extra Brut from the Montalbini.
Yes.
Nice.
I like the label so much, Chris. It's also the presence of this funny animal is so funny and makes me feel happy because it's kind of, I don't know, friendly wine. No?
Yeah, but they've got the emblem on the bottle as well. So they have the emblem on the bottle, which is embossed there. And obviously their logo is the owl. He did tell me the story. They've got a young chap that's got very good English that works there. And he told me the story, and I'm that bad that I've forgotten. So I'll have to go.
Oh no!
But there was a story, there was a reason, Stefania, why the owl is on there. So I'll have to do my my learning again.
You have to come back here, Chris, as a situation will be better. You have to come back here and taste and have the chance to spend time here in the Veneto region.
Yes, I don't doubt that. I think we should. Are we going to try a second wine? Which is the second?
It's a Brut.
Stefania is in charge of the order. So which one are we going for? Is it the Brut for Montalbino, or are we doing it? So the Brut. Okay.
The grey label.
I've got the extra dry, not the Brut.
Montalbini.
Oh, extra dry?
I have Brut.
Ooh. Okay. So is that my fault? It could be my fault. I've got the extra Brut and the extra dry. Well, we'll share with you two different tasting notes.
Yes.
How about that? There we go. It's probably my fault, Stefania. Sorry.
No. Oops. Don't worry, Chris.
Here we go. We'll open this one with a pop. Stefania is already pouring away.
Yes. This is Asolo Prosecco di Assisi Brut. So a little bit more sugar.
And then I've got the extra dry, which would be even more sugar than Stefania's. So we started off with the extra Brut, less sugar, Brut, a little bit more sugar.
Yeah.
Extra dry, which in some people's mind is the reverse meaning, but it's more sugar.
Yeah,
So
this is more or less about 10 grams of sugar. The Brut, I mean.
yes. So same colouring. It's kind of got that hay colour, but a touch of green to it, a very light element of green to the wine. Would these all be 100% Glera?
I think mine, yes. You know that Glera is the indigenous grape that's been growing here, I mean, in the Asolo area since the Romans' time, Chris. So it's very ancient indigenous variety. According to the tradition, it's been growing here since the Roman, and it's very unique kind of grape. But also you can add up to maximum 15% of other local indigenous varieties such as Bianchetta Trevigiana, Verdiso, Pereira, and Glera Lunga. But if I'm not wrong, this is 100% Glera. I mean, this Brut.
I'd say, yeah, it has to be 85% Glera. Now, they do Rosé Prosecco now, but that is not in the DOCG range, so you have to go down DOC labels for the Rosé. But a quick question. I remember when I'd done a walk around the Asolo town, they have a very unique little area where there's some vines growing, and it's the only place in the town they're allowed to grow vines. And I think at the time they were replanting them, and I cannot remember who owned it. One of the wineries owned the very special few acres of vineyard in the town centre.
I don't remember me too, Chris, to be honest.
But it took me there, but it was a bit messy at the time, so it had been overrun with weeds, and they were going to put some money and investment into it. So, but anyway, let's try yours, Stefania.
So mine, for example, this, I don't know if you can appreciate the color, Chris, maybe if I go there.
Possibly.
And it's straw yellow, but with green reflection, see?
I've got that, yeah, I've got the same kind of, the green kind of reflection.
Yeah, this reflection. And my glass, it has fruity aromas, fruity and floral as well.
I've got very overripe fruit, so I've got the sugary kind of expression, but the sweetness from the fruits as opposed to the sugar itself is coming across as the fruits are very, very ripe. They're in the fruit bowl and you've left them in there for 10, 12 days and they're just very juicy.
For example, here, Chris, I can appreciate a fruity notes on the nose, also in the mouth. Something that reminds me golden apple. It's more fruity than the previous one. Specific golden apple, yes, is the fruit that I can appreciate. It's very lovely. Also, I can feel. I can feel something like two wines are linked to each other. I mean, same style, because they are both very refined and with delicate bubbles and delicate aromas, and also same kind of minerality that we mentioned earlier, that you can appreciate and feel like here on the side of your tongue. How's your extra dry, Chris?
I would say the aromas are sweeter than the flavors. So when you taste the wine, it's a nice balance. And I agree, you can tell that it's the same winemaker that's made the wines. Sometimes with wineries, especially Prosecco for me, you know if it's the same wine from the same winemaker. You have a certain characteristics as they go through their range, and there's a style that they aim for, which they try and get in each of their bottles. So the core basics of this wine is, Montalbini. But compared to the extra dry, there's a big difference. This is far more sweeter, but still very elegant, not sickly sweetness. Sometimes with Prosecco, they can just be sweet, and it's the added sugars that really enhance that character. You feel that they've worked hard with the fruits here to deliver the flavor.
Yes, Chris, I don't know if you can appreciate, but there are a slight difference between these glasses. This is the extra brut, and this is the brut. And the brut has more, as I said before, green reflection. Instead, on the other hand, the extra brut is a little bit more golden than the other one. So it's nice to compare the colors. It's something that I always do with my students, because it's incredible to appreciate the difference, even though the grape are only the same, the maker is the same, the process is the same. Colors are often different, Chris. It's nice.
Yes, I mean, when I've done the WSET course, they put a lot of emphasis or time on the color. So you have to study the color. You then study, obviously, the aromas, and then you study the taste. But you'll also look with some wines at the bubbles as well. The smaller the bubbles, they say, is better. All of these elements. So yes, as you say, it's look, it's smell, and it's taste.
Yes, definitely two wonderful Asolo Prosecco sparkly wines that you can enjoy as an aperitif, Chris, or as you said before, during a relaxation moment, maybe sit down outside in a terrace, and maybe in the terrace or in the center of Asolo would be very good.
Perfect.
Yes.
What temperature? What temperature, Stefania?
Yes, serving temperature is very important, Chris. I always remember my students to pay attention to the temperature, because it's a crucial characteristics to pay attention to. I would say for these sparkling wines, a range between 6 and 8.
Yeah, I would say 6 to 8. I would say with these wines, if it's too cold, then it closes the aromas and flavors. If it's too warm, yes, it expresses itself well, but some of those flavors may turn a little bit bitter, and you won't get the true expression of it. So with a Prosecco, I agree, Stefania, between 6 to 8. If you're going to spend a little bit of time enjoying the bottle, then you would put it into ice or put it back into the fridge to keep it at that level.
Yes, perfect. Absolutely. And as I said, they're perfect as an aperitif to accompany seafood, raw fish as well, or first dishes like risotto or pasta with vegetables. Very simple dishes, in my opinion. but it's a wine that can you appreciate by its own. I mean, because it's very very good, and I really love the kind of Asolo, the Asolo Prosecco. I mean, because it's something unique that really belongs to Italy, Chris. I think that if someone has an opportunity to taste Prosecco in general, Asolo Prosecco or the kind of Prosecco, has the idea of Italy and the northeast part of Italy, and because of the vibrant, because yes, the simple but elegant and refined product.
I think when you visit Prosecco region as a tourist, as a consumer, then you'll see that the DOC, the standard Prosecco region, is very, very flat, and it's mainly produced. The vines are there for mass production, so it is harvest machines to bring the grapes in. Bottles go to supermarkets and similar. Then you've got the DOCG, which is the Val di Bien Congoviano, and you've also got the Asolo within that region. You're then hitting a high level, more mountainous kind of regions, hand-picked grapes, so a lot more care and attention goes into making the wine. It costs more per bottle to make. But then you've also got, as you know as well, Stefania, is the Cartizze, very small region of Prosecco DOCG, which is seen to be the most, certainly the most expensive per hectare. The vineyards, it's one of the world's most expensive regions, but the class of the Prosecco is at another level. But I would say when I talk to people about Prosecco, they do frequently mention Asolo as having some of the best examples.
Yes, 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 of course. So we're now ready to taste the other wines, Chris?
Yes, teacher. Which one?
I'm acting like a teacher, Chris. No, I'm sorry. You're a very good student, Chris.
Blue or white?
Let me take the other two bottles, please. Here we are. I would suggest to start with extra brut, so the blue label.
Extra brut. Good. So I like the labels from the Yeasty. They have a nice, consistent branding in their bottles. So again, we're in the Asolo Prosecco Superior DOCG, and we have the Yeasty, and it is the extra brut. They put a lot of money in recently, should I say a lot of investment into their winery. It's a very good place to visit as well. And they have a beautiful, I'm sure it's open now as a guest house, as a hotel. It's the villa, and I've written this down. It is the Maria Vittoria Estate. That is very nice. I've been there. And they also have the church that I saw before it was renovated. I was there when there was concrete and mud everywhere. And that is a Benedictine complex of the Saint Eustace, which apparently I've not been there since it's been renovated, so I don't know what it looks like.
Yeah, it's wonderful, that the church. It's the Abbazia di Sant'Eustachio. It's a Sant'Eustachio Abbey. It's wonderful. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it was completely restored thanks to the Giusti, Ermenegildo Giusti, and so it's good that Chris to restore kind of building, because tell the story of Italy and the story of that territory. I mean, so it's nice to see. I want to say back in life that kind of structure, kind of church, even though you can just admire my side.
It was in ruins before, and the gentleman that owns the winery, I think he was previously in real estate over in Canada, over in the US.
Yes.
So he applied all of his construction skills and knowledge to give back to the community this church here, the Benedictine, which is important, and then it adds that place to their winery as well. So a nice effort by the yeasty
Yes.
wine. So we're going to
yes, absolutely. So let's taste this other Asolo Prosecco, extra brut.
Yeah, extra brut.
See the color, Chris? It's not a
shade
of color. It's completely different.
Let me just wait for the bubbles. So it's a lot more mousse, a lot more pearlized bubbles on this one. A lot more bubbles.
It's a very pale straw yellow, very, very delicate and very elegant color, in my opinion. You can appreciate the shade, the color.
I've still got the green around the edges, so I've got a tiny bit of green showcase. But more mousse on this one for me.
Yes, you're right. Absolutely. Let me...
Much more fruitier on the nose. Pears and apples.
Fruity hints, of course. I would say pear and green apple, yes, sure. And also a little bit of white peach, Chris.
White peach, yes. Honeysuckle.
Mm-hmm. A little bit touch of wild spring flowers.
Yeah, I've got blossom. Yeah, I've got the kind of, blossom.
Yeah, blossom, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, very nice. The pollen, I've got the pollen smell.
Let me taste.
Certainly the extra brut you can taste. You've got the reduced sugars, so it's a lot tighter in the palate. It's a good acidity, fruit acidity.
It's fruity in the mouth, Chris. It's fruity with something that reminds me peach once again, and apple once again.
Yeah.
A little bit of pear. Pear, I think, is maybe more evident on the nose, but I can appreciate also in the mouth.
But we've also got, as well, the close is a citrus mineral again, and I've got the salty character. So I assume that comes from the terroir, from the land.
Yes, absolutely. Crispy and with a slight acidic note right here that you can appreciate right here. And also, I can feel my palate that keeps salivating. It is a specific sign of acidity, this one. So it's very inviting salivation. And I really want to enjoy another sip. So enjoy another sip. Also, bubbles are always very tiny, very smooth, and very delicate. It's a very well-balanced sparkling wines, in my opinion.
I think it would be nice with a light meal, but something with a little bit of greasiness or oiliness to it. So the acidity will cut through the greasy, oily texture to expose the food flavors more and the wine flavors. So this would go nice with a small pasta dish with probably something like salami or even kind of bacon parts on chicken.
Yeah,
something like that. This would be great. A light lunch.
Yes, perfect. Because they are very strong, but I mean, well-balanced acidity. Yes, it's perfect with fat food, such as a salami or fat cheese. Because of this great acidity, it's very good because it's a sparkling wine, and also because the acidity allows the wines to be preserved over the years, I mean, 2-3 years. It's very good in order to preserve the wine, not only in the mouth, but also about the color, because the color is vibrant and is shining as acidity is good and it maintains at hill level increase. So it's very important that sparkling wines maintain its acidity.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's good. So suggested food pairings so far. So I've said like the pasta, the light pasta dish. Anything else that Prosecco, what we've tasted and we've tested in the past, What other foods go well with Prosecco?
As an aperitif, as we mentioned before, but I would suggest always seafood, Chris, not meat or maybe wild meat, not red meat, but I think that raw fish is perfect. Raw fish, especially salmon, tuna, swordfish, those kind of fat fish, because this acidity can perfectly balance the fat component of the dishes, creating an harmonic, well-balanced combination.
Definitely, yeah, I agree. But this is so far very nice, but a little bit different to this wine here. You can certainly feel there's a different winemaker.
Yeah,
he's got these different. He's put their character's been put into the wine.
Yes.
That's good. What will we try now? Are we trying the last bottle?
Last bottle, extra dry.
Yeah, the extra
label.
From Yeasty, nice golden lettering on their bottle. Yeasty, nice bottles, nice branding. Yes. It feels quality, like the Montalbini. It doesn't look cheap. There's a good quality branding to the bottle.
Yes, I really like the shape of the bottle. And also the label is very elegant and very refined. I really like.
I agree. A nice consistency to their brand. So here we go. So we're doing now the extra dry. So obviously we're going up a few levels on the sugar. There should be sweeter.
Is extra dry, Chris.
Is it 15? 15. Again, much more fizz, more mousse, more bubbles to the Prosecco.
It has always a pale straw yellow color with greenish hue, greenish reflection. This one too.
I'm waiting for the bubbles to go me.
Chris, there's a very nice note that I'm appreciating. It's kind of lemon note.
Yeah, I mean, I've still got it's very clear colour. Around the edge, I've got this kind of almost a spearmint green colour, very, very light green around the edges. I've got, but these two wines here have certainly had more bubbles in the glass as opposed to the Montalbini. So I've still got the mousse around the rim.
Yeah, the perlage. Yes, it's true, right? Good student, Chris. You studied a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's more fruity with notes of golden apple and lemon, and a little bit floral notes. I would say wisteria.
Definitely floral character, fruity floral character. This definitely. There's something else in there. Almost candy sweets as well, like lemon candy sweets.
A lovely bouquet, Chris. Very feminine, I would say. Very, very delicate. I really like this bouquet. It's kind of spring bouquet, exactly, because now there are almond tree, plum tree, and acacia tree, all in blossom here, and I really enjoy a couple of days ago a nice walk up and down the vineyards, more or less 1 hour, in order to feel the smell in the air, because it's perfect to study this season. And I saw the acacia tree blossom, and I stopped by in order to smell the flowers. It was incredible, Chris. It was so strong, so intense. It smelled very, very, very nice. And these wines reminds that kind of smell of the acacia tree in blossom.
Yeah. That's nice to know. Where do you live, more or less?
In the province of Verona.
Okay.
In the province of Verona.
far is that from the Prosecco region by car, if you was driving? How long would that take you?
From Verona is more or less 1 hour and 50 minutes, not too far from here. From Venice, more or less is 1 hour. 50 minutes, maybe 1 hour, not too far. And if you come in by airplane in Venice, you get a car, hire a car, and have the chance to visit the Asolo Prosecco, Conegliano, Valdobbiadene, because they are all very close to each other. So in 1 day, 2 days, you can spend a lovely time there and have a chance to see wonderful vineyards and visit local wineries and meet some great people that really love that territory, Chris.
Yes, no, I agree. Yes, it's very easy to get to. When things are opened up again, then yes, you go from Stansted, from UK Stansted to Venice. You can sometimes book yourself a person to show you around the region. They will meet you at the airport. They'll have their, your name on a piece of paper, and they can take you on your trip. If you're on a wine tour, or a press tour, then you can book with wineries to visit. But simply, even a cycling holiday for people that love cycling and walking, then it's one of the best regions. For me, I've not visited every wine region, so I don't know what the best is. But compared to all of the places around the world that I've been to growing wines, Prosecco for me is the best region.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. It's a unique place so far. Also because of the history, as I mentioned before, the indigenous grape Glera that belongs to Roman times. It's incredible, Chris, to think that was many centuries ago, and now still is growing in this specific area and not in any other part of the world, but just there. It is nice to have the opportunity to taste this product and think about this indigenous grape and the love the winemakers and the people put in order to produce these wines.
It is. Obviously, all wine regions work very hard all around the world, but I think the Prosecco has everything. It's got the architecture, it's got the landscape, it has the wines, it has the food, it has the culture, an awful lot, especially for wine tourism. Prosecco is a very good region to go to for wine tourism. It's quite a big area when we put in the DOC region, but as Stefania said, the main central part is quite compact in its own way. So you can have the Cartizza, you can have the Asolo, the Valdobbiadene, Conegliano regions are all relatively close to each other.
Yes. I think, Chris, that now it's time for surprise. Give me 1 second because I have to take the surprise. I'll be back in 1 second.
No problem. No problem. I don't know what the surprise is going to be. We're going to find out shortly. I haven't got a surprise, unfortunately. So my surprise is I got the wine wrong. So I've got the extra dry where Stefania had the brut. But we got there in the end. So we're going to find out what the surprise is.
I'm here. I'm not disappeared.
You're still here. That's good to know, Stefania.
Yes.
What have you got? Tell us.
I've got a surprise for you, for our listeners, food lovers. Talking about food, Chris.
Yes.
See what I have here.
Is wow. Looks tasty.
It's cheese.
Yeah. Cheese. What cheese is that then, Stefania?
It's local cheese. See, okay. Produced in the province of Treviso, called Casatella.
Casatella.
Let me show you the label. It's Casatella, DOP Trevigiana. DOP means the protected designation of origin. And
Yes.
it's a local, very delicate cheese produced in the province of Treviso. And it's very simple and delicate. And its name comes from the custom of producing this cheese at home, because casatella comes from the word casa, that is home in English, and so casa, casatella. And this soft cheese, slightly buttery, very clean. The flavor is sweet, but with a kind of slight acidic note, and has a very nice white buttery color. See, Chris?
Oh, it does look nice, yes.
And it's delicious. I really love it.
Prosecco, really, for me, Prosecco is wonderful to go with cheese. For me, creamy cheese, soft cheese are very, very good with Prosecco. I mean, I've only got French cheese. I've got President because I have to have some. You're going to have some of that cheese with the Prosecco. Are you going to taste some?
Yeah. Yesterday I tried a little bit of casatella.
Okay, I'm going to do a bit of cheese. Because Stefania's
brut
cheese,
tried.
And it does go, the milky kind of creamy cheese, the cow cheese or goat cheese, it goes wonderfully well. I'm trying that with the sweeter, the extra dry from the yeasting.
Extra dry, okay. Oops.
Cheese and wine, not good for the diet. It brings out a golden citrus honey note to the wine.
It's perfect, Chris. It's incredible. Even though I'm in Italian, so I would say that I perfectly know the Italian tradition. But every time, Chris, I get surprised to see how good local wine can be combined with local food. It's incredible, Chris, because I'm tasting this delicious casatella. This is produced in the province of Treviso with this delicious Prosecco, and the combination is perfect. There's nothing to add more, Chris.
It's a wonderful combination. I'm going to do the extra brut from the Montalbini with the same cheese, because I've only got one cheese here.
Let me taste.
Not as good as the sweeter Prosecco. It's a little bit more of a salty flavour coming from the cheese.
Because it's kind of little bitter, right, Chris? It's a little bitter, the extra brut. I think perfect would be brut or even extra dry. In fact, this kind of cheese, Chris, see what I have here? Yes. It's a dessert. It can be used, this cheese, as a dessert. See, is a lemon biscuit with casatella and strawberry and mint. So it can perfectly be paired with the extra dry version of this wine. It's perfect.
So is that a locally made cheese? As you said, it's a homemade cheese, but how local is that to Prosecco, or is it local to you, Stefania, this cheese?
Sorry, please, can you repeat?
Is the cheese local to where you live? Is it locally made? Or is it local to...
It's produced exclusive in the province of Treviso. All the phases of production must be carried out in this specific geographical area in order to guarantee its quality and its integrity in its origin. So it's just in the province of Treviso. Here, in the province of Verona, there are other good cheese, but casatella is just about
Do they send that cheese worldwide, or do you think it's only local Italian people that enjoy it? Do they send it to other countries?
Yes, of course. Yes. Yes. There is a consortium that develop is Casatella DOP Trevigiana. So it's easy to contact the consortium in order to get some information, or maybe to receive the cheese in order to taste this wonderful, beautiful, and very delicate cheese.
What we'll do is we'll put all of this information, Stefania, when we finish this, underneath, and when we share it on Facebook and Twitter, we can put the links to the consortium for the cheese. We'll obviously put the links directly to the wineries themselves, but also if they've got distributors in the UK, we'll mention the distributors. So if you're interested in the wines, you can speak directly with the distributor. Also, probably give you information about the Asolo region specifically. They do have their own dedicated website as well, and I think that's about it, really, isn't it, for episode 2, Stefania?
Yes, I think we tasted so many good sparkling wines, and it was nice, Chris, to see the colors, the bouquet, the style, and also to appreciate the unique characteristic of the soil and the minerality that really belongs to these Asolo Prosecco sparkling wines.
And the different sweetness levels. It's always important. Some people forget when they buy a bottle, but to look at the sweetness level, which is usually extra dry, extra brut, etc. on the bottles. So you're going to have a different tasting experience by these words. So look out for that. But we must also thank Gisti Wines and Telvini for the wines that they sent you and the wines that they sent us. So we do appreciate that. Thank you very much for sending those wines to us. Thank you to the cheese, obviously. Stefania, I'm sure is going to be a very happy lady later tonight. Cheese and Prosecco. I don't know if you're allowed to have your friends round, but I'm sure you can have a party at your place tonight.
Yes, by myself, Chris, but it's
by
good anyway.
Yes, all the wine and all the cheese for Stefania Roffa.
Okay.
But look, thanks. I don't want to sound like I'm in charge here because this is our show together, but literally, thanks everybody for watching. Have you got anything that you'd like to finish with, Stefania?
Just to invite people to come here and visit this beautiful area and have the opportunity to live in the past, because Asolo, the town and the area around Asolo, is something unique, something totally unspoiled, and in the city of 100 horizons, I think, Chris, is the right way to define this area, because the hills are so delicate, and also the horizons are incredible.
They are. They are. I totally agree with you. Well, look, it's been very good. Thank you, Stefania.
Thank you too.
If you don't mind, I'll close our chat today by just giving a mark of respect to Stephen Spurrier, who died a couple of days ago. So Stephen Spurrier, a very great man in the world of wine. Look him up, find out what he did in the world of wine. So I'm sure you would join me in that, Stefania.
Yes, for sure.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Until episode 3. Everybody take care, and we'll see you soon. And thank you, Stefania.
Thank you too, Chris. Bye, listener. Bye, Chris. Bye.
Bye-bye now.